Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So a couple days ago Mac from New Nation, here is his profile, reached out to me asking me if I want some Longshot gameplay videos because he has got his 6-star SIG 200 rank 3 Longshot ranked up now, and he says he's loads of fun. So I obviously go sure enough. First things first, he did send it over via lineup, so you're gonna have to excuse the poor video quality, but still it shouldn't take away from the whole idea of the video, and that is to showcase this champion as a rank 3 6-star. Now he is not running suicides in any of his videos here, I believe. I have not actually went properly through all of them, so a lot of this is going to come as a surprise for me as well. I do not know exactly how what is going to play out, but here we can see that we're starting out with a fight against Captain Marvel, and that was a nice burst of damage, and that is the one thing that everybody knows about Longshot. He can deliver huge bursts of damage, especially if opponents have a lot of buffs, but even in matchups without buffs, he's still capable of providing a huge damage per hit kind of output. Now there is kind of like some limitations to that. You have to be able to throw your heavy attacks, for instance, in a fight, and some fights that's tricky, and it is not the quickest playstyle, but the damage and just watching the health melt away, and that is kind of like one of the most awesome things in the game, when you have these kind of like huge damage over time effects quickly accumulating and dealing huge bursts of damage, and when you can visibly see opponent's health bar just kind of like leak away, as if sometimes like with Void against Realm of Legends Wolverine and things like that, when you see opponent's health bar, which you typically hardly see moving, getting completely destroyed in an instant, it's extremely refreshing and interesting. So here we can definitely see that damage per hit ratio wise, 66 hits, and Captain Marvel was down, so he definitely does deliver a lot of damage with few amount of hits. So let's take a look. Next up, we definitely have the mandatory Act 4 final boss Venom, I believe, and this fight should be extremely quick. It definitely will be over with a single level 2. The keys to get there. In this video, we also can see that suicides are active, so that will increase a Longshot's damage even further. Now, Longshot has a bit of a... Jesus Christ, okay, so, okay, I saw that. That was cool. But where I was going, Longshot seems to be a bit paradoxical champ, in a sense that he isn't really a suicide-friendly champion, but he does benefit a lot from suicide masteries. So I think that might be one of the best ways how to run a Longshot in your questing team as well. When you are playing suicides, maybe not necessarily use him as like a main champion for clearing an entire path, but just pick and choose the preferred matchups, have the suicide masteries active, and then let that huge burst damage go to work and deliver some insane damage. Here hopefully we're going to see something crazy here as well. I think this is... oh yeah, that was good. That was good amount of damage. I believe this is from Act 6 on the power shield node with that got a light node as well. And now we have another fight here up against Dormammu. So let's take a look at how this fight goes now. A reminder again, I haven't seen all of these clips pieced together, so I'm basically reacting to them real time as well. I just suspect that this fight is going to be quite similar. As soon as he's gonna get to level 2, the fight here should be pretty much over. Obviously, you do have to be careful not to trigger dexterity on yourself and all that good stuff. Meanwhile, spam your heavy attacks, bait out the level 1 from Dormammu, I guess, if you have to. Or you can just go for level 2 and completely destroy the guy. Now, for this clip, he did mention that here he was just having a good time showing how Longshot can steal the Unstoppable from the Juggernaut, and you're guaranteed to steal that Unstoppable if your level 2 Incinerate is active. So that can lead to kind of like an extremely fun and funny and goofy looking playstyle. So long as your Fate Seal and Incinerate from level 2 is active, you're guaranteed to take away that that Juggernaut's Unstoppable buff, means that you can just spam heavy attacks regardless of whether Juggernaut does have unstoppable or not, or whether he does have power or not. Because if he throws his special attack, he's going to trigger unstoppable. You are going to nullify it because he's fate sealed, and that will let you steal the Juggernaut unstoppable. So basically you can just spam your heavy attacks and nothing else matters. Just spam your heavy attacks, be happy, be free, live wild, and it's funny. It's really, really funny. It's one of the kind of more fun interactions I have seen in the game recently, just because of the fact that it literally doesn't matter what opponent does, because as soon as he drops his special attack, yeah, okay, you take some damage, but you will automatically steal that unstoppable and you can just keep pounding away at the guy. Here he did push himself to a level 3, and that should stun Juggernaut as well, I believe, for 3.5 seconds, so it's a fairly hardy stun, and with all that bad karma and all the other stuff that Longshot can have going on for him, that apparently gives you well enough time to get back up to level 2 and carry on dealing absolute tons of damage. And here you can see again that he just spams that heavy attack without a care in the world, steals the unstoppable, and keeps spamming the heavy attack. And again, another level 3, and the fight's pretty much over. So this is definitely not kind of like a serious fight where you should take notes on how to use the champion. It's more of a kind of like, why not goof off with a champion if you have him ranked up so high? And I love it. I think it's funny and I think it's interesting, and I definitely like this one. It's certainly something different for most part. It's kind of, it also kind of reminds you when two things go at it and both of them are unstoppable and so on and so forth. Either way, so this fight is over. We can check out the next piece of footage he has sent over us. I think vast majority of the other clips are going to be from various Act 6 matchups. Now, I believe this is the life cycle, and that should be in 621 aspect of war node. Yes, that is 621 aspect of warpath. So it is a fairly tricky path. It's arguably the trickiest path with that life cycle node, but we're going to see what kind of damage this Longshot is going to deliver versus this Spider-Man Supreme. So obviously here we do have to be careful with all that unstoppable and other stuff going on for us. And let's see here, a level 2, and that gets rid of half of his health immediately, spamming a heavy attack, decent burst once again, couple more heavy attacks, and the fight is over. Now that definitely was fun as well. And next we have a couple more fights on the same lane, I believe. So next up we have Venom, and Venom should definitely be a very good time for Longshot, because obviously Venom is consistently and constantly trying to generate buffs, which means there's going to be more stuff to nullify, which means there's going to be more damage going in, and he's like the definition of a type of champion you want to bully using Longshot, because it's nothing else but a bullying at this point. It's a complete mismatch. It's kind of like special how bad Venom is against Longshot, I guess I would say. But yeah, so at this point he's at level 2, he drops it, and we can see that the vast majority of the health is gone with one level 2. Still gets a huge chunk of power. Obviously he has to wait out the unstoppable. He goes for a medium hit there, and now he counters with heavy attack while Incinerate's still active. That triggers more burst damage, and basically that Venom went down with one level 2 and a heavy attack. And next up is Carnage. We do have a full fight clip against Carnage as well. This one again should be quite good fight. It's aspect of war and masochism. Obviously masochism, whenever that triggers, it is in fact considered as a buff, so that will also trigger Longshot's abilities when the Fate Seal's active. So this is definitely also gonna be a matchup where Longshot can definitely benefit from the nodes and deal some extra damage. So at this point we can see that we have 3 bad karmas on Carnage. The whole point is to try and get to 5 in order to increase the damage. Obviously get to level 2, drop your level 2, and then see opponent's health completely drain away. Once again, simple level 2, and that Carnage is down after the next heavy attack. And Longshot also seems to completely bypassed that entire life cycle node. And that's quite sweet. There's not much else I can say about it. It's definitely quite sweet. Next up, we pretty much have the mandatory Black Bolt matchup on resistor node. So this is in Act 6.33, I believe, where Havoc is the boss. And this is a place basically where we have seen pretty much everybody bring in their long shots and showing off the crazy damage. So let's see how much damage does a rank 3 does on this node. One level 2 and we're nearly dead. But there's a 20% left, a couple more hits and the fight's over, so 21 hits or so. So that is a rank 3 6-star Longshot in action. Now we're back again on Aspect of War, Life Cycle Extinction Protocol, and Venom the Duck. So Venom the Duck once again is a champion that consistently does generate some sort of buffs, so that will definitely help Longshot with the damage. Now, since these are Aspect of War nodes, obviously you do have to be wary of the decreased block proficiency and the fact that eventually they go unstoppable. But none of these fights last long enough for eventually to actually come to pass, so that doesn't really matter. Only thing you do have to be careful is the unstoppable after special attacks. So here we go, countering with a heavy attack that deals another burst of damage, which deals another burst of damage, but it didn't quite finish the job at this point. So here, unfortunately, he has to time things out himself with additional level 1, but that was not too tricky at all. And once again, 21 hits and the fight is over. Is he going to be going up against the next opponent? And that will be Venompool. So he's pretty much done the entire lane here. We just swiftly squeezed in an extra fight. That is my bad. I could go back and edit it, but I don't think I will. Either way, so now we have Venompool. Now, if I remember correctly, this Venompool had a buffet node on or something like that. I remember this definitely being an annoying fight when I was clearing it. So let's see how Longshot does against this Venompool now. So as it is Aspect of War, obviously the Unstoppable is here. He unfortunately eats a little boot to the face, but that shouldn't be too big of an issue. Now he goes for level 2, and that Venompool's health is pretty much immediately gone. Now, unfortunately, Venompool does drop a special attack, but shouldn't be too big of a deal. He did trigger Buffet though, and that extra damage came from the Buffet triggers. And yeah, again, another heavy attack, and the fight is over. So nothing too complicated at all. But that will do for today's video. We are out of footage, and that means that, yeah, we're done here basically. So I hope you guys enjoyed this showcase. Let me know, do you like Longshot? Do you enjoy him as a champion? Is he your cup of tea? Anything else you think might be useful to know in regards to this champion and all that good stuff. Obviously, if you did like the video, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm going to catch you guys soon. See ya.